What's good? What's good? What's good? What's really good? This is RawTruth Media, giving you the raw content that you deservedly need. Peace and blessings. And I had to do a live today of the Charlotte Hornets. This team, and it may sound like nitpicking at times, but this is a horrible offseason. This is not how you build a winning team. And if I'm wrong, tell me. If I'm wrong, just tell me. Now, shout out to Court Vision. He says, terrible. Mitch at it again. And the Hornets fans love Cody Martin pickup. Shaking my head, mediocrity at best. It is mediocrity. Think about it. Instead of paying Gary Payton II, they could have gave him the same money. A proven defender who has shut down opposing offenses. You'd rather pay Cody Martin than to pay Gary Payton II. Tell me if that makes sense or not. Now, we got all day today. This has been the worst offseason I've seen from a team in basketball in quite some time. I'm not going to say ever, in quite some time. Everyone hit the like button to donate to this channel. You can either super chat or Cash App at Droot06. Appreciate the love as we're building this channel through the day. Shout out to Thunder. Yeah, Mitch Kupchak is ridiculous. And that's why Michael Jordan hired him. Not only is he buddies with him because their alma maters is North Carolina. Shout out to the Tar Heels. But he was the perfect GM for MJ. Cheap. Don't want to spend. And overspend for likable guys, quote unquote, teachers' pets. Now, I got to tell this to MJ. I know he may not watch the show, but MJ, you get what you spend for. I don't want to hear about no playoff this, playoff that. And you're spending on mediocre players. When is the last time Cody Martin has shut down a dominant wing scorer? Don't worry, I'll wait. Shout out to the sister, Macrina Daniel. She said, what's up, everyone? Terry Rule says the worst. It is the worst. Superior trucking in the building. He said, what happened now? What's done happen now? A lot of F is going on. So news just been reported not too long ago that Cody Martin, the wing, the so-called shutdown defender, which he is not, has just signed a contract with the Hornets, $32 million in 4 years. So he's getting paid $8 million a year. This is NBA purgatory. Now, family, what sounds better? If you're not going to spend for big talent to win or go farther in the playoffs, you might as well strip it all down and play your young guys and try to get a high draft pick. No, they don't want to do that. They want to barely fight for a playing spot. And I hope Gordon Hayward complains. Here's why I hope Gordon Hayward voices his opinion, because that could force him to be traded. So I hope Gordon Hayward can tell the front office, this team is not it. This team, you can't win anything with this team. No matter what I say about Gordon Hayward, brother, you need to speak up, man. Because if you're still with Charlotte, you're going to get blamed for a lot of stuff because what I see right now, they still haven't given Lamelo the keys. So since they didn't give Lamelo the keys, all the responsibilities on Gordon Hayward. And I don't think he wants to deal with that. So if I'm Gordon Hayward, I'm going to Mitch and Michael Jordan and telling them, what can I do to get traded? That's what I would do if I was Gordon Hayward. Shoot, I'll do the same thing as Terry Rozier. Because if they don't make the playoffs next year, and I don't think they're going to make the playoffs with this current roster, this roster is trash. Court Vision says Cody Air All Martin. Yep. Mr. Airball. Tammy says, might as well just rebuild at this point. I've been saying that, man. Nobody wants to listen. Nobody wants to listen to common sense. This is how you build. Look at the Spurs. The Spurs do not want to be in NBA purgatory. So what are they doing? They have traded every single impact player because this 2023 draft class is supposed to be really good. And that French guy, I forgot his name, he's the real deal. They're trying to get him. Rap guy, peace and blessings, my brother. He says Hornets are off to a terrible offseason with Trez being charged with drug possession and Miles Bridges' domestic violence situation, horrible situations. And Miles Bridges, I'm disappointed in him. I'm not going to go too further because, in fairness, we got to wait for the information to come out. But what we've seen so far is alarming. And you got to be wiser. He just messed up his own bag. And I hope Lamelo, and I'm sure he's watching all this, this is what you do not do. I don't care what they do. You walk away. You don't let anyone mess up your bag. But all the message should be, no matter what situation, keep your hands to yourself. I just got to keep it real. Keep your hands to yourself. You got to learn how to walk away sometimes, man. Especially people you're bigger than. When I was younger, man, there was a lot of times I just wanted to just snap. But I had to think and walk away. Shout out to the homie Najee King. Peace and love, peace and blessings, brother. He said the Hornets roster is worse in the East. Only the Knicks and Pacers. It's terrible, man. Look how improved in Indiana when they make these trades. I'm telling y'all right now, Indiana's gonna have a better roster when they finish making these moves because they're trying to surround Halliburton with talent. Look what the Minnesota Timberwolves did a day ago. They are surrounding Anthony Edwards with talent. Anthony Edwards now has a defensive stopper, a real defensive stopper, not no shadow defense, fake defense in Cody Martin. I'm talking about a real defensive player who has won defensive player of the year. You add that with the Timberwolves, and he's a perfect match with the Timberwolves because Karl Anthony Towns can actually play power forward. That's how you build around your team. Right now, the Minnesota Timberwolves have one of the tallest teams in the NBA. So that improves defense, offensive putbacks, and you got a team up in Charlotte, North Carolina, who are signing miniature players. And I wouldn't be surprised if they sign Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker has been having knee issues. He didn't work out with the Celtics at first, and then with the Knicks, he's in the upper room territory as a basketball player. He's close to just being a journeyman. And I'm seeing people on social media saying, "Man, let's get Kemba Walker. He'll be able to mentor Lamelo." Mentor him? He's not a star. Now, if the Hornets hypothetically brought in a star that has won before or won a lot, they don't have to win a championship, but been winning a lot, making multiple All-Stars, yes. That's someone who can mentor Lamelo. But players who are no longer stars, those are not mentors. I need to slow down right now. I'm cooking too early, man. I need to slow down, my brothers and sisters. I'm cooking too early. But yeah, Miles Bridges, He failed a lot of people, not only his family. He failed friends. He failed when you do this move, when you decide to hit someone who you're bigger than, you got to have the time to think about your future because it's not about you. Shout out to Big Spell One. Big Spell One says, I can't believe they signed Cody Martin. Yeah, that's stupid. Shout out to Hoop Jargon. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. He said, Ja ain't need one. Lamelo don't need one. That is a fact. You never heard anyone tell Luka that when he first came in. And don't tell me, oh, he's not on that level. Before Luka was Luka, no one was telling Luka he needed a mentor. Tell me if I'm lying. Yeah, even the Sacramento Kings improved. Now I got to mention this: when LaMelo's contract is up, he's got to make a wise decision because if he signs this contract coming up, that means the Hornets could do whatever they want. I'm just letting y'all know. So if you sign that contract, you know what they're going to be doing. Now that's his own life. He could do whatever he wants. But if all it takes was to give LaMelo $250 million or more and to allow the Hornets to do whatever they want, that's not good for his future. Because I don't want LaMelo to be labeled as a player who cannot win in this league. Nick Jordan says, I like Cody Martin. He's not that bad. He's a solid role player. Repeat that again. He's a solid role player. You don't pay 4 years, $32 million for okay. You get the real deal. You get Gary Payton the second, who is a winner, who was very pivotal into strengthening the Golden State Warriors defense. You pay someone like that. You don't pay scrubs. What Cody Martin does is not real defense. And it's not against you, Nick Jordan. I'm just answering. I'm just stating the whole scope of everything. And he said facts. Yeah, I'm just letting y'all know. That's somebody you need to get. Gary Payton II got paid like wasn't like 3 to 4 year 30 plus million. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's around that range. Oh, he got paid less. Gary Payton the second got paid $4 million less. Wow. So the Hornets could have saved $4 million. They could have saved $4 million, but they overpaid for Cody Martin. Did y'all know that nobody, like I looked at all the message boards. No one was looking onto signing Cody Martin like that. Not at that price. No one was. But this is a terrible situation, man. Anthony Edwards has the team of his dreams, but LaMelo can't even get one extra stud on this team. So if anyone says in the future, oh, Anthony Edwards is a better player, I mean, you wouldn't be able to say you wouldn't be able to dispute that because his team is going to be winning more. Think about it. What if the Hornets are 34 and whatever, right? And the Timberwolves win 48 to 50 games. no one's going to say that Lamelo's better than Anthony Edwards. And all this is the Hornets' fault. Instead of building around Lamelo earlier on to save money, you know what they would have done if they would have just built around Lamelo the first 2 years. They would have had and not pay Gordon Hayward all that money and Terry Rozier. Did you know that they would have had the top 3 cap space in the NBA? I'm getting real now. They would have had top 3 in the NBA cap space. And then they would have been getting a DeJounte Murray or these ballers or Ayton. Because the hoopers in the NBA, they like LaMelo. It's documented. They like LaMelo. They would like to play with LaMelo. But the Hornets, they don't know how to spin right. And then they're cheap on the really talented players that you have to spend. African Royal, you're correct. Cody Martin is worth $12 million 3 years. Yep. Cody Martin is not worth $8 million in 4 years. Y'all see the stuff they writing on Twitter? Somebody said on Twitter that this is the best news that the Hornets had in a month. That is a lie. That's not the best news. And I'm not trying to be funny, but I'll tell you the best news that the Hornets have had this offseason. Y'all want to know? The best news that the Hornets have had this offseason is that Jello has been announced of playing in the Summer League. That's it. That's the best news the Hornets have had. That we get to watch Jello grow his game and try to learn and try to one day make it a league if he does or not. That's about it. Mikola says the Hornets are a mess. Oh man, they're a dumpster fire right now. They are a dumpster fire. I mean, the best preacher couldn't pray for that type of miracle, man. We got 70 plus people in the house. Make sure to get it to 70 plus likes. And we've been talking about it, especially Coach Joe. Coach Joe he told you how bad this organization is, and people try to scoff it off. Now they seeing what Coach Joe was talking about. Who Jargon says, I want them to go off after Donovan Mitchell. Hey, Donovan Mitchell, man, I don't know if it's possible, brother, but Donovan Mitchell is very fed up with the Utah Jazz right now. And if they're dumb enough to take Terry Rozier and Gordon Hayward and a couple first-round picks, go ahead and do it, Hornets. That's the only way you can salvage the season. If you don't do that, then you know what you need to do? Restructure everything. Play nothing but the young guys and try to just form an identity. Because you're not making the playoffs with this roster. I got friends who are scouts, who are entwined with basketball, so as Coach Joe and many others. Who Jargon, you know some people. And what have they told you, brother? And the coaches that listen to Coach Ant Learn, you know some people. Every coach is saying this team is not it to make the playoffs. Even if Miles Bridges didn't do what he did, they still wouldn't have been a playoff team. You know why they're not a playoff team? And shout out to Sean Nichols says, hit that like button, hit the like button. Let's get a 70 plus likes. It helps the algorithm. If you want to donate to this channel, you can super chat to have a question showed up on this chat, or you can donate to Cash App Drew06. If there's a book on how to not ruin an NBA player, not how to not build around an NBA player, the Charlotte Hornets should write that book. Taufik says he's a Hornets defender and he'll defend mediocrity. Yeah, Rap God. MJ is a terrible owner. MJ is a talented player, the GOAT, but he is a terrible owner. Who does this? I mean, shoot, if I'll pick any team. If LaMelo was with the Houston Rockets that haven't won since James Harden been there, at least they would have built around LaMelo. And you know what's the funny part? Some Hornet fans, not all, have claimed LaMelo fans for only saying, "Oh, they want him to leave Charlotte because he want him to be in LA." Now, I don't mind him being in LA since I grew up a Lakers fan. I don't mind that. But to be honest with you, if LaMelo would have played for the Magic or any other team, even if they're a losing team, I wouldn't complain too much because he will be able to grow out his game. Everybody can grow out their game except for LaMelo for some reason because the Hornets don't want him to be the overall reason. This is why I said the Hornets have to trade Gordon Hayward and Miles Bridges. Not Miles Bridges. Well, he's about to be gone anyway. Trade Gordon Hayward and Terry Rozier because Gordon Hayward, Terry Rozier would never buy in to the fact that LaMelo is that guy and this is his team. They will never buy in. You think I'm just saying something? I'm letting y'all know they will never buy in. They're too arrogant. African Warrior says Charlotte overpays wrong players and doesn't pay players that should. Been known to do so. Yep, for the years. I feel bad for Charlotte Hornet fans because Charlotte Hornet fans, if you look through the years, they've been supporting their team. They're going to games. They're excited about having a franchise point guard, LaMelo Ball. And now this team can't even field an adequate roster. And you expect LaMelo Ball to carry this junk of a team around? This is a mess. This is an absolute mess. And for those who are new to this channel, please subscribe to this channel. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. JT Jumper says Melo usage rate going through the roof at the least. Now, Steve Clifford talk about it, but what have I told y'all? We got to see it first. We got to see it. But Steve Clifford in his press conference, he said all the right things. But I've seen this movie before. JB even knew how to talk. Even though he dodged some questions, he knew how to talk. Slat says they need to blow it up, trade Terry, and sit Gordon. They need to do a John Wall, what the Houston Rockets did with John Wall. Yeah, we're going to keep you for this last year, but you're not playing. You're not going to interfere with our team. If somebody wants you, they got to buy you out. That's what smart teams do. And look at the Houston Rockets. Now they're rebuilding, but they saved all that cap space and they're building around Jalen Green. It's chess, not checkers. I repeat, it's chess, not checkers. Tammy says, we drafted Monk over Mitchell, shaking my head. Man, I remember that draft, brother. I remember that draft because I was saying to myself, oh, Charlotte may just have Donovan Mitchell. I saw what he did at Louisville, and he was explosive. He should have been drafted higher. And when they passed on him for Monk, and it's nothing against Monk, it's just that I thought that Mitchell was better. I was like, wow. And they have a history of doing this, passing on good talent. Now, the only reason why they didn't pass on LaMelo is because, I mean, you hit on the gold mine, marketing standpoint as well. So, you know, Jordan's a businessman. No matter what you think about Jordan, Jordan is a businessman. And he wasn't dumb enough to pass on that. Now, what Jordan has failed at is doing the common sense things. Let me see. Slat said, okay, I read that. Jonathan Williams says if Miles Bridges didn't get in trouble, they would have tried to run it back. Yep. Rap God says Danny Ainge works for the Jazz. He won't do anything dumb like Mitch Kupchak. He's actually got some pieces back. Now, I know people mad about the Gobert trade, but Donovan Mitchell and Gobert didn't get along. It's been reported on that multiple times. And they got a lot of, that's how you do a trade. Shoot, they got more from that trade than anybody would for a Kevin Durant trade. That's how you do it. Danny Ainge, he's a good GM. I give him his credit. Lewis said, my boy Miles ruined the Hornets. Now, I'll say this. Like Matt Ant pointed out, Miles ruined himself. The Hornets will be mediocre just as they've been. They just gave Gordon Hayward 4 years, $32 million deal. Let's put it in perspective. Miles Bridges failed not only himself, but his family, everyone. But the Hornets, they've been making bad decisions throughout the year. Even if Miles Bridges didn't do what he did, they could have got Gary Payton II, could have got Lou Dort, could have got anybody. What have I been talking about? 3-and-D players. That's how you build your team. John Morant, Trae Young, Steph Curry, and many others. They don't have to play defense like that because they're surrounded by top-notch defenders. There's only a few that actually plays defense. That's a star guard. And really two probably. B332 says, may have missed this, but who should the Hornets replace Miles if he got traded or lost in free agency? That's a good question. It's hard to answer because the Hornets are cheap. And the Hornets are probably going to go with Gordon Hayward and call it a day. Everybody's really getting the ballers right now, and the Hornets have not done anything. So it's kind of like, you don't want to overpay for scrubs. I like JT Thor. Now, JT Thor is kind of like a power forward, but he can play small forward defensively. They got to use the young guys, man. I'm down with playing nothing but the young guys and see what happens. You're better off doing that than trying to fight for a playing spot and getting your teeth kicked in by somebody and doing the same thing that you've been doing for years. But this is pathetic, man. TB says, for some reason, MJ got a great white hope fetish. Hey, you ain't lying, TB. Adam Morrison, now with Gordon Hayward, overpay him. He can't even stay healthy. But for some reason, he don't want to build around the brothers. Jay Will says, Melo to LA in 2026. Mitch failed with the Lakers. What made anybody think he'd do better with Charlotte? Yeah, if you feel, he failed to build around Kobe in his later years. Laker fans still to this day doesn't forgive him for that. Paid Luol Deng all that money. Paid what's his name? What's that European guy's name again? Mozgov, all that money. Terrible. Rap guy says Kupchak always been mediocre at his job. It was Jerry West that made him look good. That is true. Shout out to Jerry West. That's how you be a GM right there. I like what Mad Hat says. We might have someone like TJ Warren now for a mid-level exception as a veteran. Now he has injury problems, but for a mid exception, you can't really hurt that much as long as they don't overpay for talent. For normal talent, I call it. MTM Gaming says they got a great two-way guard in the draft. Hey, I remember that. He said Jordan praised Adam Morrison, so I'm not shocked. Man, I remember that draft because Michael Jordan pointed out how Adam Morrison was crying when they lost to UCLA in the NCAA tournament. And he thought that was a warrior spirit. I was out there listening. I was laughing. I was like, you're really going to, and I was a teenager. And I was saying to myself, you really going to draft this player because he showed emotion and crying after a loss? Fast forward to 2022, and it all makes sense now. MJ is just a terrible owner. Now, that doesn't take away his legacy as a player. Because I hate when we point out that Michael Jordan's a bad owner, and they said, oh, he's not. Go give him some time. You can separate the two. You really can. He's a terrible owner. We got 90 plus people in the chat. Let's make sure it's 90 likes. Let me see. Right here. Michael says TJ Warren going to the Warriors is the news out for a veteran. And that's smart. TJ Warren should go to the Warriors. I mean, what's playing if I'm an NBA basketball player and if I can only get a veteran minimum, I'm going to a contender. That's what I would do. Man, the Timberwolves, man, they doing their thing, man. They are doing their thing. I'm impressed. I was impressed. Everybody laughed at the Timberwolves. Remember the draft? Remember people saying, oh man, you don't want to get drafted by the Timberwolves. Now it looks like the Timberwolves was a great option. So look at this. This is what the Timberwolves will have next season. The point guard would be D'Angelo Russell. The shooting guard would be Anthony Edwards. Jaden McDaniels as a small forward, he's 6'10". Karl Anthony Towns, power forward. Rudy Gobert, center. Your bench is going to be Kyle Anderson, Jalen Noel, Nazir Reed, who's solid, Taurean Prince, 3-and-D athlete, and Bryn Forbes, who can shoot like nobody's business. This is who you're getting. That's how you build a team. Length, shooters, defensive presence. And I tell you what, if Miles Plumlee is starting next season, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to lose my mind if he's starting. So, Mark Williams, I hope Mark Williams has the year that I think he can have. But this is a freaking mess right now. LaMelo Ball, you realize something with LaMelo Ball? He always has to deal with adversity. He dealt with it in Lithuania. When he came back and played high school again, they didn't invite him to the McDonald's All-American games and the Allen Iverson game. That wasn't the Allen Iverson All-Star game, All-American game, that is. I don't blame that on AI. That was really just Steven Jackson and company because they didn't like his father. But that's another story for a different day. And the Jordan Brand All-American didn't invite him. And then you fast forward to the NCAA didn't want him in the NCAA because he had money for his shoes and all that stuff. Now, if LaMelo would have came through in NIL, he probably would have been at USC or Kansas. That's just what I think. But who knows? Now we're here. Charlotte Hornets, 2 years later. And Lamelo Ball can't even get his number. He may get his number this year. This team is not built around his strengths. And they got a coach who they fired in place of JB. You cannot make this up. They traded, Mad Hat, man, you on fire right now, bro. He said, we gave Jalen Duren up for a bag of Cheetos and a Sprite. Damn. A bag of Cheetos and a Sprite. TB, that's a good point. He says, Alex Rodriguez, shout out to A-Rod, and the new owners at Minnesota have to win in order to create culture. That is important. See, the Minnesota Timberwolves know that they have something special in Anthony Edwards, and they cannot fail him. You see the difference? Hey, y'all make sure to not to let me see. In the comment section, make sure to not name call anyone. Let's be adults. All right. Macrina says Jordan wants Melo to work for it. Oh boy, here we go again. It's rather depressing. Yeah, they're not fooling me. They are not fooling me. Jay Will says, Matt Hat says Jay Will, they have people on their bench who are elite defenders if that happens. Yep. They have a great rotation. So if the starting lineup is given, you could interchange. The Minnesota Timberwolves have one of the most flexible teams where if one lineup doesn't work, they can mix and match. They got enough defensive players to do that. The Hornets do not have that luxury because they're cheap as hell and don't want to spend. SC Bay says, what we do with the money we're not spending on Miles? My guess is the Hornets are not about to make any big moves. They're about to save that money or pay some overrated role players. But Mitch Kupchak already alluded that he's not going to spend for crap, which is the most depressing thing. Why have money if you're not going to spend it? Hampton Royce was good. He says, y'all got to realize Gary Payton and many others don't want to come for Charlotte. You're seeing the results of a deteriorating reputation of the franchise. Well, I'd rather have Charlotte not pay for any scrubs than to overpay for Cody Martin. $8 million in 4 years, $32 million overall. You cannot make this up. When I saw that, I thought it was one of those troll accounts. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Those troll accounts that say, "Oh, this person signed for this team," not knowing it's not true. I thought it was those type of accounts. But I found out it was legit. I said, Cody Martin, $32 million in 4 years, $8 million per year. Mad Hat says the only thing good about Charlotte being cheap is Jello might get his shot. Shoot, you might. This team is not, man. When Steve Clifford was in the podium talking about, well, we got to work hard to make the playoffs, I was thinking about that old coach Jim Mora talking about playoffs? Playoffs? That's what I was thinking the whole time. I was like, playoffs? With a Gordon Hayward who's Mr. Glass, who can't even play 60 amount of games? 60. He can't even play 60 games. And you know the overall schedule through the year is 82 games. Jay Will says, MJ, fun MJ casino tips. Oh boy. Yeah, let's get the likes up, man. Let's get the likes. Hampton Roy said, get the likes up. We got 100 plus people in the building. Woo! Man. The offseason of nightmares. Man, you cannot make this up. And the good thing about LaMelo Ball, I give him credit on this. He knows how to turn a bad situation to a good situation, but this situation is so toxic and just messed the heck up. Like, LaMelo's going to do his thing and get his. But, man, this team ain't going to win that many games, man. Shout out to the brother, Nico Savage. He says this franchise is just ready to lose LaMelo. The only chance they have to keep him is respecting Jello. That's probably, I mean, that's the only chance to really keep him, is keep his family on the team. But they don't even want to do that, brother. So it's going to be really hard to keep LaMelo Ball unless he's really yearning for that $250 million. And $250 million is nothing to sneeze at. I give you that. He can always demand a trade. Now, I ain't trying to make everybody mad. I'm just giving scenarios that other star players do when your organization is not building around your talent and skill sets. Jack Robb says, to be honest, I disagree with some of the stuff you're saying respectfully. Well, you could disagree with me. But one thing you cannot say is that I'm lying what I'm talking about. If you think that the Hornets are running a well-oiled organization, that's not being real. This team is they have no identity. They don't play with structure. They're cheap all around. They're cheap with the roster. They're cheap with the coaches. Being cheap with the roster is one thing, but being cheap with a coaching hire, you can't even give Dan Toney $8 million. Come on, man. Some Hornet fans, not all of you, y'all gotta be very transparent with the team you're rooting for. Even though I'm a fan of LaMelo, you will see videos of me critiquing LaMelo if he's playing a bad game or playing passive, not playing his game. I just wish some Hornet fans could do that with the organization. Making excuses for Mitch Kupchak or Kupchak and Michael Jordan is not going to help. So you could disagree with me, but you cannot say that what I'm saying is wrong. I pointed out everything this team has failed in, and the facts back that. So Jack Robb says the Hornets are doing a bad job, but LaMelo needs to do better. How? He's 20 years old. Brother, what LaMelo has to do better besides shooting the mid-range shot and limiting fouls? That's about it. It's not LaMelo's fault that Michael Jordan and Mitch Kupchak does not know how to run a proper NBA organization. We cannot blame a 20-year-old for this, brother. And I told y'all this was going to happen. They're going to start blaming things on LaMelo, things that he can't even control. A bad roster, he can't control that. It's just like the Utah Jazz. If the Utah Jazz missed the playoffs, you're going to blame Donovan Mitchell for averaging 20-plus points per game, but he doesn't have help around him anymore? No Rudy Gobert, no Royce O'Neal. They got a lot of good draft picks. That helps for the future, but not now. Are we really going to blame a young man who's doing his job instead of his teammates playing hero ball, not want to buy in on defense? And then when they miss their defensive assignment, I keep saying it, Lamelo has to, he doesn't even have to, but he feels obligated to take that foul. Y'all seen it. I tell you one thing, if his teammates did their jobs, LaMelo's fouls wouldn't even be high like that all the time. But you could disagree, but yeah. Jack Robb said he was inefficient. That's what I'm saying. They have no culture, but that is on that star player. LaMelo doesn't even have the keys to the team. Remember, this organization still feels, now they're not going to say it in public, they still feel like this is Gordon Hayward's team. The stuff they run is not even like beneficial to LaMelo. Why do you think they didn't get Mike D'Antoni? Because Mike D'Antoni fits with LaMelo's scheme, fits with his game. They probably was telling themselves, oh, no, we don't want him averaging 28 points a game. No, 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 no. We're not about to hire a coach that this young brother likes. They're stubborn like that. Rap God, thank you for the stats, brother. He says, fun fact, LaMelo has a higher winning percentage than the Hornets' entire existence. James Borrego and Steve Clifford combined. And remember, James Borrego coaching LaMelo improved his win percentage. It did. It improved his win percentage. Yeah, Jonathan Wins. They weren't trying to pay Mike D'Antoni, which would be $4 million more. That's all it was. Now, that's $4 million a lot, but in NBA terms, just one more $4 million more, they could have done it. But you're absolutely right. They were being cheap. Rap God, he on fire right now. He said Cupcake made it clear Gordon Hayward is the best player for 2 consecutive seasons. Y'all remember that? Remember that press conference? Matt Hatt says, Jack Robb, Melo's percentages are fantastic. He can be streaky. He is streaky, but that has more to do with rotations. Borrego would sit him when he's hot. Now, that is a fact, because if LaMelo Ball, and y'all seen this throughout the season, so you know I ain't, you know what I'm about to say is going to be spot on. How many times have you seen LaMelo just shooting unconsciously, hitting threes, hitting floaters like crazy, and JB would sit him at the wrong time, and then he puts LaMelo right back in, and then he's cold. So analytics points out if LaMelo has more of the quote-unquote starters minutes, like star minutes, 35 or more minutes a game, his percentages will go up. Hampton Royce says his efficiency is top 20. That is true. What are you talking about? What statistic are you using to justify your BS? Again, we cannot blame a 20-year-old who has no control with this team, doesn't have say-so. Respectfully, Jack Robb, you're acting like LaMelo is calling the shots with this organization. That's not even further from the truth. I mean, I wish LaMelo had power, but he doesn't right now. He doesn't have it right now. Jack Robb, to take control, he needs to have the keys. Now, here's an impressive thing about LaMelo Ball last season. Without having the keys, LaMelo still was able to make it to the All-Star team and average 20 points per game without the keys. Averaging 31 minutes a game, barely 30.8 minutes a game. That's impressive. So really, he had to take his shots wisely because he's getting subbed out of the game, inconsistent with the rotations and minutes, and he still had 20-point-plus points. He almost had a double-double, almost averaged that throughout the season without being the main focal scorer. Hampton Roy says LaMelo shot 39% from three as a 20-year-old on a high volume. No one in history of the NBA has ever done that. Talk to him. Michael says, Jack Rob, look at the stats. When he is on the court versus when he's off the court, it's all posters for the team when LaMelo's on the court. He makes something happen when he's on the court. Again, before LaMelo Ball got with the Hornets, JB's record was not even close to the 400 territory. The 2 years that LaMelo played on this team, now JB's at the 400 territory, still not 500. But this is a coach who was on the low 3.3%. 333% winning percentage. And that's a big increase from 333 to 400 plus. Again, on this channel, we don't make excuses for LaMelo when he plays bad. We go out and say it. Trust me, I've said it multiple times. But what we're not going to do is blame a 20-year-old for the pitfalls of this terrible organization. They have failed their fans. Now fans of Charlotte saying they're thinking about even trying to have buy season tickets. They're questioning on buying season tickets. This is what LaMelo's dealing with. They failed him because the owner and the GMs are ego tripping. See, they like what LaMelo brings. They like the merchandise, the money, the ad revenue that LaMelo brings. But they don't want to turn that same favor back to him to give him a roster that he can win with. This is all backwards. And they got to do some soul searching. You got two options, Hornets. You either decide to buy, spend for just adequate players and trade Gordon Hayward and Terry Rozier for something. I don't care if it's a bag of chips. Or you tell Gordon Hayward, no, you sit out the whole year. We're not even going to do what the Rockets did with John Wall. You do that same thing. You play Book Knight. You play Thor. You play all the young guys, Mark Williams. And you go on for that and try to get a high draft pick. Because this is not – fighting for the playing spot is the worst thing you can ever do. Because that's a loss. That is a loss. The decision is yours, man. But that will be it for the night, family, man. Thank you for supporting this channel. Thank you for just tuning in. I had to go live, man. When I saw that freaking Cody Martin contract signing, and I'm happy he got his bread. I'm not mad at anybody getting their bread. It's just the Hornets. Nobody was willing to give Cody Martin that much but the Hornets. Nobody. That should tell you something. You're looking at the like Jonathan Williams says, LaMelo plugs right into Toronto, Miami, Boston roster. Giannis may go on a recruiting campaign. When LaMelo's contract is up, whenever it is, there's going to be so many stars in the NBA trying to recruit LaMelo. I'm telling you, he's well liked. I'm telling y'all now. Hornets, I'm giving the Hornets the answer on trying to keep LaMelo Ball. Will they listen? That's on them. But you know what you need to do. And it's very simple. You give Lamelo all the power he can. You make him feel wanted. That's all you have to do. But we'll see if the Hornets will wise up in time or not, or do the same crap that they've been doing for years. Giving you the raw content that you deservedly need. Thank you for supporting the channel. Share this video throughout all social media platforms. This is a family. Shout out to Coach Joe. Shout out to everybody that liked and shared this video, man. Man, it's all love over here. Hornets, y'all need to get y'all shit together. And because this is just embarrassing. I'm out.